Welcome back to In the Garden. I'm joined here by Craig from Grange Co-op, and today we're talking about rhododendrons, one of my favorite flowers. Now, we can't really see the color right here, but these are a very colorful flower. What can you tell us about planting these guys?
Absolutely. Rhododendrons are just in this climate in Southern Oregon, specifically even if you move even farther along to the coastline, or even if you get up into Northern Oregon, they are just a great climate for growing rhododendrons. Most of your neighbors probably have one in their landscape. They are primarily a spring blooming plant, usually around May, depends on weather a little bit and the particular variety. Lots of different colors to choose from, just a huge sizes to choose from. Some of them stay very, very short and very small. Other ones get tree size. I mean, they get very, very big. And there's certain places, state parks you can go to in Oregon that have like full grown massive ones. Big thing with them is they want to be in a shadier environment. They do not want to be out in full sun. They will burn if they're in full sun. And they really want that kind of that acidic soil, maybe what you'd find more naturally in some kind of a forest landscape where you've got a lot of, needles and that kind of stuff. A lot of rain is in the climates that they usually come from have a lot of rain. So they come from a more of an acidic environment. So we want to make sure in our climate where we are that whenever we plant them, that we're planting them with an acid planting mix. Really important to put them on the right to put them on the right step. We want to make sure and use an acid mix when we are planting them. Fertilizing them is also not tricky, but you just want to kind of know what you're doing with them. You want to be fertilizing a rhododendron after it blooms, because if you fertilize, especially with like a fertilizer that has a lot of nutrients in the springtime before it blooms, those buds that the flowers are going to turn into flowers can pop open and kind of break open. So you want to make sure and fertilize them after the bloom time. You could also fertilize them later in the year as well. Just don't be fertilizing them at this stage right now where they've got their buds but they haven't quite flowered yet. So that's one of the things to think about with them. A really versatile plant can work in a lot of places as far as the size goes. The big thing is want to make sure and give them in a good shady environment, use the acid, use the specific fertilizer, and they'll be happy campers.
All right, so you mentioned, putting them in a shady area. Does that determine how often you need to water them?
Not really. They actually, they will take a fair amount of moisture. They come from usually a lot of times where you see really big ones or kind of even rainier parts of the state than where we are. They prefer quite a bit of moisture, but the thing is with them is you don't want them to be in a really hard clay environment where that moisture is just sitting on the roots. So even though they'll take a lot of moisture in, and frequent moisture is good, you want to make sure and using the compost when you're planting it, not just for the acidity, but also to really help the tilth of the soil, the actual texture of that soil, to make it so it drains a little bit better for them. They're really going to thank you if you can get them some good drainage by mixing stuff into that soil when you plant.
Okay, so maybe like planting them on the side of your house or like by your shed or something? Yeah,
absolutely. They do well in those kind of environments because those are usually going to be a little bit shadier environment, but also they do good like under, say if you've got some trees, they will do well as an understory plant as well. Like I said, huge amounts of color varieties to choose from. You've got whites, you've got yellows, you've got oranges and pinks and reds and purples. Just some are two-tone or three-tone. Really big variety of colors to choose from. So if you've got a spot that kind of fits those requirements as far as the shade, if you come on in, huge variety right now to choose from. Lot of different options, a lot of different colors to choose from.
Great. Well, is there anything else you want to highlight about these flowers to anyone?
Biggest thing right now is that we're at the time now where they haven't quite bloomed yet. And a lot of customers or a lot of folks come in to buy them when they're in their bloom period. And that is nice. You can certainly see, the true color of what they are. Problem with that is we have the most that we are going to have right now. So if you come in right now, you can get the biggest selection to choose from. If you wait until a little bit later in the year, we will have them. We do carry them year round. But this is when we have the most we're going to have. So if you want to come in right now, get these guys, it's going to be your best choice to get the biggest variety to choose from.
All right, so get them before they're gone.
Yeah,
really.
absolutely.
Yes, all right. So if you'd like to check out these beautiful, showy rhododendron flowers, then you can head yourself into a Grange Co-op store, or you can look for more information on our website at kdrv.com. And thanks for joining us in the garden.